What's good, Fins Nation? What's good? It is your boy, Reason, and we are back with another one. And of course, I got the man, the myth, the legend right here on screen and co-hosting with me. Guys, you can feel the jubilation from EM. EM, guys, they didn't get to see what you had to say in your reaction other than kind of putting some eggs on people's face yesterday. Let the people know right now how you woke up this morning and how you went to bed. How are you feeling?
Oh my God, Fins Nation. Nothing but, I'm so elated right now. We've been dreaming about this all year long. We've been, we spoke into existence a long time ago, Reason. I'm just elated at this point right now, man. In my opinion, we got the best player in the 2020 NFL draft at the quarterback position. Man, brighter days are coming. Fins Nation, brighter days are coming. I promise you. Love this pick.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, and you guys know how I am with quarterbacks, I think the quarterback is the most important position on the field because, just in terms of impact alone. And I agree with you, Em. I feel like we got the best quarterback in the 2020 NFL draft. And guys, when was the last time we've been able to say we got the best quarterback in a draft, on the second day? Waking up, guys, it was a little so surreal for me, at least. I was like, wow, Tua's actually a Dolphin. And, we've had more time to sit on the Austin Jackson pick and the Noah. Check it out, guys. The Noah Igbinoghene. Haha, you like that? I've been practicing the name.
Igbinoghene.
Yeah, Igbinoghene. We've had some time to sit on it. I still think we could have got Igbinoghene at 56 or 70, but like I said, on TD stream, I see why they did it because of all the homework they had done. Because, when you go the athleticism and the physical tools he has, I get it. Mm-hmm. Austin Jackson, again, they not only identified a need, but they drafted a little bit higher than they should have based on upside. But I'm not going to kill them for it because, like I said on stream yesterday, the kid's got very, very high ceiling. But, guys, we'll get into that in a moment because, EM's going to have his thoughts on that. And he's got some pretty good thoughts. But, EM, we woke up today. We woke up today with the best quarterback in the AFC East for the next 10 to 15 years if he stays healthy. What kind of feeling is that, brother? Tom Brady is gone, and Tua is now the best quarterback in the AFC East.
Man, I mean, what more can you say, Reason, for real? I mean, we've talked about the skill set all year long. We've talked about the fit, the seamless fit that he is within the organization, on the field and off the field. This is the perfect player to springboard this rebuild. You couldn't construct a better player. You couldn't. And man, like I said, bro, it's just a spirit of elation, period. We are next year, and again, I'm going to preface what I'm saying. I still think Ryan Fitzpatrick should be our starter based on what he put on film last year.
Agreed.
But with that being said, I think once this kid,
the leash got shorter though, EM. The leash got shorter.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because even though he should be the starter, he is put on notice because once this kid gets into camp and they see exactly what they have, bro. Woo! Man, he's gonna blow a lot of people away. I can't wait until we read the stories from the beat writers when they're at the closed practices or whatnot at the practices, and they see him firsthand just how good he is in terms of his ability to distribute the football. I cannot wait to see their responses with this kid.
Bro, I am such a nerd, guys. I am such a nerd with football that I'm just as excited to hear stories come out of the chalkboard room, the QB room.
Absolutely.
excited to hear about the chalkboard work as I am to see what he does on the football field. Because, guys, this is someone who, take it or leave it. Trent Dilfer, we've mentioned this multiple times before. This guy memorized an offensive playbook in one night before he even got into college, and it was an NFL level offensive playbook, guys. We're talking about a guy with a massive on-field and off-field football IQ that's going to have a year, hopefully, because we're all believers that no matter who you are, you need to sit a year and learn. Hopefully he has a year where he can just be a sponge and he can just take in everything. And that's what's even scarier, guys. Not only will you give even more time for his body to recoup, when clearly he's even said yesterday that doctors are telling him he'll be ready to go in September, but not only giving him more of a year to just sit there and recoup his body, but you're giving him a year to sit there, learn disguise coverages, learn what to do pre-snap, post-snap at the next level, what he's going to have to look for, which he was already good at the collegiate level. So, I mean, dude, I'm telling you guys, we got something special, man.
And the reason, listen to him already oozing those leadership qualities. Yesterday, when they asked him, what are the first things he wants to do in terms of, getting acclimated to the organization, yada, yada. One of the first things came out of his mouth was getting phone numbers, and he's going to call up all of his teammates, getting to know them, starting to build upon those relationships. Bro, that's a leader. That's a general. You know what I mean? And he's already oozing.
You see everyone, Vince Beagle.
Absolutely.
Vince Beagle, Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant. Everyone was shouting them out when we selected him. And someone on Instagram, guys, there was a Tua to Miami account started about 370 days ago. And this guy was posting edits of Tua to Miami, and Bobby McCain came in the comments section over a year ago and said, we're going to be too good to draft him. That same Instagram account called him out last night, and Bobby McCain jumped in the comments and said, great pick, great QB, let's go. So you can feel it, man. I think the players can feel it. Fitzpatrick took to social media right away and said, Tua, man, let's get to work. And, I'm telling you guys, man, I don't think right now, we talk about how Jordan Love, we all think Rodgers is kind of going to be a little bit standoffish with him, especially since we're hearing this morning he's betrayed. Tom Brady with Jimmy G, locking him out of the TB12 thing. You're not going to get that with Fitzpatrick. You're going to get a guy who's great on the chalkboard. He's a smart guy, and he is ready to groom a kid like Tua Tagovailoa. And that's scary. That's even more scary I'm telling you, man, the AFC East between our secondary and taking on guys like Josh Allen and Sam Darnold, and the way our offense is lining up, if we get that offensive line up a little bit better.
Scary. It's going to be frightening. The AFC East will be ours sooner than a lot of people realize. The players that we're bringing in, and already just based off the first three picks of the first round, I personally think the Austin Jackson selection and the kid from Auburn, that selection, those were solid B to B plus grades, in my opinion, because of the potential upside that these two players can bring, that they're bringing to the table. And again, I think in terms of, we'll get to that later. But anyway, I think this is a very, very, very solid first round for the Miami Dolphins overall.
And, guys, I don't know if you were live yesterday, but I mean, we got a guy too, guys. Chan Gailey runs very similar type of West Coast, air raid to what they run over there at Alabama. The only thing is, guys, and I said this on stream, and I said, we talk about scheme fits with other positions. He is a scheme fit even deeper than fitting what Chan Gailey runs, guys.
Absolutely.
What he's going to give Chan Gailey the option to do now, Chan Gailey's offense perfectly fits the addition of the RPO, run pass option.
Absolutely.
And we also drafted a guy who I've seen on tape, to me, is the best at running the RPO. And guys, you got to listen to me here. What's the new wave in the NFL? It's the RPO, man. That's the way the game's going. And we just got the guy who's best at that. Quick release, quick decision maker. that's what you need with the RPO, and he can extend the plays when you got to go with the option and stuff too. So, man,
and based off Tua's overall unique skill set, you can implement him into any scheme. And I think, again, when you're thinking in the grand scheme of things of why potentially Flores selected Chan Gailey as our can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. He selected Chan Gailey as our offensive coordinator. What has been the MO of Chan Gailey throughout his career in the NFL? Multiplicity in terms of the concepts that he implements on a week-to-week basis. In Tua, based off his overall skill set, you can put him into any system and he will flourish at it. And so that approach alone on a week-to-week basis is going to keep opposing teams off balance. So it's hard for them to gear on and prepare on what we're going to do, on a week-to-week basis based on that alone. So I cannot wait. It's perfect. Again, and anybody out there that tells you skill sets don't matter, if you look at the selection of Tua Tagovailoa, Austin Jackson, and this cornerback, who we'll get to shortly, anybody that tells you scheme fits do not matter in NFL, they are lying to you.
Yeah.
And y'all know what I'm referencing
That's
right
the
now.
thing.
You know what conversation I'm referencing right now.
That's the thing. Even when you go to Austin Jackson and Noah Igbinoghene, you can say we reached a little bit on upside, but we also reached a little bit on them being perfect ideal scheme fits. But, when you look at Tua, guys, when you go outside the numbers, and you got to remember, he throws outside the numbers, right? So throws out to the sidelines. Those are some next to slants. Those are some of the more transferable throws you can look at from a collegiate player to the next level, guys. And when you take out screens, which was Justin Herbert's whole game, so when you take out screens and when you take RPOs, which he was very good at, like we just stated, he has a 65.4% accuracy percentage outside the numbers on drop back attempts. And I think another thing that I got to talk about on our stream, because I talked about it yesterday on TDs, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. We talk about how he manipulates safeties with his eyes. I talked about how he's very good at identifying outside-inside leverage. So, if it's outside leverage, he'll throw the ball inside. He'll move that safety up, and then he'll throw that ball inside on the corner where only the receiver can make a play. You know what I mean? He's got those he's that intelligent. He notices things like that, which is what you need. But when you look at him against the blitz, since 2018, Tua Tagovailoa against the blitz has 154 completions out of 231 attempts for 2,571 yards, 27 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions.
Crazy.
Those are guys. Those are some full season stats at 1,000 yards, but those are full season stats for a lot of quarterbacks at the collegiate level, and he's got them just against the blitz alone. Crazy. So that shows you how quick he can identify pre-snap what's coming against him. He can check which read he's going to go off of first. And guys, don't listen to people out there, man. I'm telling you right now. Take it from the guys who watch film, and if you don't want to take it from us, go listen to legitimate scouts and legitimate analysts about it. Brother, the way he rolls and reads through his progression, this guy is a master, guys. He goes through them like
he's like and people. I remember I made this statement some months back. I think it was on Facebook. I was engaging with some fans, with our fan base, and I talked about that. You can eat this kid when you evaluate him from that perspective. He is already at Pro Bowl like level in terms of that aspect of his game. Already at a Pro Bowl level. And again, what did we always reference reason all year long about his skill set? There are things that you can take out of his game and you can put a fingerprint on and say that will be immediately translatable to the next level. And that him against the blitz alone is crazy. Yeah. That's at like Pro Bowl level already. Yeah. Already. And that tells you he doesn't get rattled when the heat comes. It doesn't. And that's contradictory to some people's other individuals.
And guys, he's not just accurate, he's precise. And he's more precise than Joe Burrow. and he has a stronger arm than Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of more things. Another thing, bro. The guy only had 24 turnover-worthy plays in his entire collegiate career.
And he's in consider that reason. I'm glad you brought that up. Consider that, and you also look at how aggressive he is in pushing the ball down the field.
Yep.
That is crazy. Normally, when you see players that they have a lower interception percentage or whatnot, and they're a little more judicious in the football, they tend to be more conservative in terms of their approach.
Mm-hmm.
Tua is ultra aggressive, down a distance, whatever play, first, second, third, fourth down. This kid, I'm telling you, he has special elite traits. And like you said earlier, like you alluded to earlier, I'm like, bro, I'm sitting here, I'm elated to sit here that we can sit up here and say that we have a prospect like this, considering what we've gone through for 20 years, all the laundry list of players that we funneled through at that position for the last 20 years. I'm telling you, it brings me extreme comfort and encouragement moving forward that we have a player with that elite ability, with these elite traits.
And guys,
I'm telling you,
what did we tell you all? The one thing that stuck out in that Greer pre-draft press conference was the tape tells us who a player is.
Exactly.
When you're going to a Tagovailoa, the tape tells you that he's the most special quarterback prospect to come out since Andrew Luck.
In my opinion, he's the most refined. When you're evaluating his complete game, he's the most refined prospect I have ever seen at this point, making the next leap to the next level, even over Andrew Luck. Now, Andrew Luck, I give him the edge as far as his overall physical ability, height, weight, speed, but in terms of prototypical pocket passers, his ability to distribute the football, I've never seen a more refined prospect in all of my days of watching college football.
And guys, one of my favorite stats this year was owned by this kid. He was second in the nation on accuracy plus throws in the tight windows, guys. And that's chest, shoulder, stride. Those three encompass accuracy plus because it's as accurate as you can get with the football. And what that shows you is, guys, it didn't matter if it was Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Waddle. It didn't matter who was at the end of that ball. It was going to be delivered right where it needed to be, man. And, the one thing is, a guy like Preston Williams, even a guy like Albert Wilson or Jakeem Grant. You got Jakeem Grant or Albert Wilson coming over the middle on a slant. He's going to put them in a position where they're going to be hitting stride and they're going to be able to eat up that yak.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be what you guys remember a couple years ago with Albert Wilson when he was healthy and we kept having those yak plays that were huge. Tua Tagovailoa is going to put him in a position to do that way more and consistently and far more often. So that's a scary thought if we get Albert Wilson, if they end up hanging on to him and he stays healthy.
And again, he's going to easily turn out to be the most marketable. He's going to be the next in terms of his marketability. Mm. He's going to be like on a Peyton Manning-esque type of level in terms of his. And that look at the attention that's going to bring, positive attention that's going to bring to our franchise. You know what I mean? The revenue that this kid is going to be able to generate from our franchise alone. Stephen Ross should be doing cartwheels naked in his living room the moment they selected him yesterday. That alone, the revenue is going through the roof. So this kid, he's cleanest prospect. Again, I can't stress that enough. The cleanest prospect I've ever seen. Now, again, he has to get acclimated to the speed of the game. He has to get acclimated to the NFL, the overall, NFL level of play. But again, he has to put the work in. I'm not saying this kid is going to be the greatest ever, but I'm talking about in terms of his pre-draft evaluation at this stage, as we're sitting today, he's the cleanest prospect we've ever seen.
Oh man,
so it's all up to him now. It's all up to him now.
Guys, again, we didn't want him just to verify our evaluations in our head that we were right. We wanted him for the state of this franchise, guys.
Exactly.
We were tired of wallowing in mediocrity and not taking swings on the most important position on the field. And if you don't swing the bat, you ain't going to hit a home run. So I don't know what else to say. I think this was an A-plus pick. You didn't have to move up for him at all. I mean,
Perfect.
Guys, the whole thing was tank for Tua. We didn't tank, and we still got him.
Exactly. And also, it just turns out this hip injury could have been the biggest blessing in disguise in terms of us being able to select him without giving up a treasure trove of
and this has comeback story, future 30 for 30 written all over it with this
Absolutely.
Kid. With what he put up with. And guys, I want you to notice something. The first two picks, Austin Jackson to Tagovailoa. What's the connection? They both went through adversity,
exactly,
and it's turned into having good character.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you can tell the connection. And then what's the connection with Tua and Noah Igbinoghene, right? What's the connection there? The connection is they both come from structured, disciplined, strict families. Character, right? So,
exactly.
You know, I mean, you gotta like it.
I love it. I get, I love these selections. Obviously, Tua. But Austin Jackson, and I forget, my apologies to him, but I can't pronounce his name consistently yet. But the cornerback from Auburn that we selected with our 30th pick, I love the theme. Look at like you just alluded to, the theme between all three of these picks: high character guys, structured people that come from structured, disciplined environments that let you know what I mean? Character issues. You don't necessarily have to worry about that as much, especially being in South Florida, from what I hear. So, great picks, solid picks. I
want to say what up to everyone in the comments. We see all y'all saying hi. We're kind of in our conversation, so I just literally glanced over and I saw two people ask, so I'll get to it, guys. We'll highlight questions and comments at the end. We got 104 people in the room right now. We'll highlight that stuff at the end, but I will address this because two people did ask when I just glanced over, and we'll go over this. EM, what do you think? We know the doctors have told him he's going to be ready to start this year. What do you think? Do you think if Fitztragic shows up a game by week 6, week 8, they make the shift? Personally, I'll just say what I think. I think if Fitzpatrick goes down and gets hurt, and we have a winning record, we're battling for a playoff spot. Okay, I could kind of maybe give you the pass. I don't want to. I could kind of, because guys, we know Rosen ain't going to get us to the promised land if we're in that position. So, and Jake Ruddick, as much as we like the potential, we haven't seen those kind of attributes that he can carry us to the playoffs quite yet. Whereas, to his college film just kills all of them. So when we're going with that, I personally don't think, if we see Fitztragic and Fitzpatrick is just having a bad season and we're out of the playoff spot, man, roll with Ruddick or Rosen. Go throw Rosen in there, find out what you have. We're already stinking the bed. Don't put this kid out there when we got a losing record. You know what I mean? Just for the sake of seeing him and pleasing the fans. Nah, man.
Yeah,
if we're in a losing situation, give me 2021 fresh start with Tua back there. Don't give me.
I agree.
Because if we're struggling out there, there's clearly reasons why, whether it be the defense isn't gelling, the offensive line isn't where we want it to be at, et cetera, et cetera. So the only feasible situation I see is if it's week 10, week 11, week 12, we're in the thick of the playoff hunt and Fitzpatrick goes down. That's the only situation that would make sense and even be passable, even though I wouldn't agree with it. I want to also say that I wouldn't agree with it because I want to see this kid sit for a year. What do you think, EM?
I mean, I agree pretty much with everything you said, but I will say this. I would like to see him. I would like to see the approach that the Kansas City Chiefs took with Patrick Mahomes. I think he didn't, his first year, his rookie year, he didn't get to see any playing time until about week 13 or 14, I believe. And they brought him in as spot duty just to get him, that on the field experience. If Tua continues on this trajectory, positive trajectory in terms of his rehabilitation, and he's like 100%, 150% healthy, at that point, I would like to see Miami kind of implement him and integrate him into the offense and get him, like I said, in spot duty. If we're, hopefully we'll be in in some situations where we're up 2 or 3
By like
touchdowns, we blow a team out.
By like
Exactly.
28 points. Yeah.
Exactly. I'd like to see them kind of integrate him that way, but I don't want to see him placed, especially for struggling. Absolutely not. Yeah. I don't want to see him on the field. I want him to get a full year. And I personally think,
and that's how Mahomes got his reps in his first year, right?
Exactly.
They were up big. And that's what you would, honestly, bro, that's what you do going back all the way to high school. You know, I'd come off the field when we're up by 4 or 5 touchdowns, and the backup would just go in and they just rock them. I mean, it goes all the way back to high school, right? It goes back. Same thing would happen in rep football up here. So I agree with that. If you're up by 28, couple minutes left in the fourth, go run the 2-minute offense, whatever you want to do, right?
I agree 100%, bro. So yeah, I would like to yeah, man, I think I'd like to see that kind of play out, just to get his feet wet, and yeah, I think that's a realistic possibility, because I even think by September I think he'll be if we had to start him, he would be more than healthy enough, I think, by September. And he said that. I remember when some months back, he said, I'll be ready to go day one. Yeah. I truly believe that. Now, is that ideal, considering our offensive line, is not solidified? Is that the most ideal approach? Maybe not. But from a health standpoint, I think too, he physically, could, if we were, placed in that situation, he could do it, from a health standpoint.
And people are asking me in the comments to shave the beard. Guys, it is getting shaved. Don't worry about it. I'm just deciding whether I'm going to do it tonight on stream or whether I'm going to do it tomorrow. Just because I haven't had any time today. I was up till 4. I had to deal with my kid this morning, and then I had to get some Z's after I dropped her off, because, I mean, I, like EM yesterday, was up there seeing as much as I could see on Noah Igbinoghene, right? Like, that's what I was looking at. Basically Tua's presser, Flores and Greer after, and then I was looking up some Noah Igbinoghene film, and I mean that's basically where my night went all the way up until 4 a.m. and then I was back up at 6:30 a.m. But don't worry, guys, it is coming. So let's get into the other picks, brother. So at 18, we took Austin Jackson, right? Offensive tackle, USC. Give me your rundown of this pick. I mean, on TD's stream yesterday, I gave it a B-. Add on a little more. I've moved it up a bit. I'll give him a B. I had this guy on my big board. I had him 10th, and the reason why I had him 10th was because I saw a lot of things like against Brad. We were talking about it before we went live, against Bradley and AJ Epinesa and Julian Okwara from Notre Dame, all guys who are, they're projected as, top 10 defensive ends, but they didn't even go in the first round. They're athletic, big, strong guys who can get to the quarterback, and they all kind of feasted off Austin Jackson. He's got problems with one thing I said, you'll notice when you watch the film, when he gets the hands up there, it's just as simple as a swat from the defender, and those hands are totally out of place. Especially with athletic guys, he has real problems with resetting his feet and squaring back up. But those are things that I said to EM personally. Those are coachable. Those aren't things where he gets lost out in space and he doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I mean? So these are coachable things. And he's got, and like I said on stream, he's got very, very high upside. You know what I mean? He's only 20 years old. So he, when you're 20 years old, you're still encourageable to coaching. So what do you think about this pick? I'm like, the only reason I gave it a B, guys, and I didn't give it a higher is because I still think you could have got him at 26. So what do you think about, them identifying a need with a guy like Austin? I said on stream, while he acclimates himself to the next level, the benefit is where he's positioned, Tua will see the incoming traffic, right? He's not watching the right side, he's watching the left. So, he's not that great of a run blocker. He's a pretty decent pass blocker. What do you think about this pick at 18, yeah?
I liked it. I gave it a B, a solid B to a B plus. I gave it a B plus. because based on upside alone. Was he the highest rated player at that position in my, during this process? No. But when you look at this kid's potential, his ceiling, okay, like you said, he's already at 20 years old. He's 6'5", 322 pounds, okay? Mm-hmm. He's got 34.5-inch arms, okay? So the profile is there. The profile is there, okay? The foundation is there to build upon. He goes to the combine. He tested the second best. Now, if you remember during this process, all of these TV individuals on TV, all these evaluators were raving about the athleticism of a Mekhi Becton, a Tristan Wirfs, a Jedrick Wills. And all due respect to those players, they should have. But guess who tested the second best next to Tristan Wirfs and all these other prospects? That would be Austin Jackson.
The white guys, he had a 1.73 second 10-yard split, which was in the 93rd percentile. He had a 5.07 second 40-yard dash, which was in the 88th percentile. Another freakish, he had a 31-inch vertical jump, 84th percentile. And another freakish stat is that he had a 9-foot 7-inch broad jump, which was in the 96th percentile. So he's showing that, he's got that agility and he play. And the thing is, EM,
go ahead, bro.
He showed yet, so he's got to get there. But he's still only 20, right? He's still getting that. He's still getting that big boy strength to his body, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And if you go and you put the tape on, you go and you pull the tape up at this kid, and you look at this kid's ability to play in short, confined areas, able to shift his feet consistently, his ability to get to the second level, it's like next level. So when you consider the overall, when you're evaluating his game in its totality, you can see clearly why there's a high level of intrigue with this prospect. And also that obviously the Dolphins are extremely high on this kid because they were well within striking distance to get to where Tristan Wirfs fell at 13. Yeah. And if the evaluation was really that they had on these two players was really that significant, I think they would have went and pulled the trigger and made the trade to Tristan Wirfs. So the fact that they didn't do that tells me that they were firmly comfortable with this kid in terms of Tristan Wirfs' evaluation and this kid's evaluation.
Well, they did. So, Adam Beasley did confirm yesterday, guys, that we were in talks with San Fran when they were on the clock and we were trying to move up. We were trying to move up at that 13th pick, but we just got, as crazy as it is, the 117th pick that Tampa Bay outbid us. So, they obviously weren't ready to part with the 70th overall pick because, the 18th and the 70th would have got it done. But clearly these guys were playing with their picks in the hundreds, you know what I mean, to try and make that move, and it just wasn't happening. So,
but again, if they thought the gap was that significant, you really think they wouldn't have they wouldn't have given up that 7th pick? I think they would have. I really do. I think they would have. So again, but if you look at this kid's overall upside, he needs to get stronger. He needs to get up to speed in terms of NFL strength. His base, he needs to get stronger in his base, his hand placement, his overall discipline in the application of his technique. He needs refinement. And that's not unusual of any prospect at any position making that jump to the next level. Yeah. So again, the foundation is there. And if you go back and you pull up Tyron Smith, the left tackle from the Dallas Cowboys pre-draft evaluation, the year he came out, it's eerily similar to this kid in terms of, the age they were selected. I think he was like 21, 22 years old. This kid is 20. But why the Dallas Cowboys took a risk, somewhat of a risk at that point on him, was his overall upside, his overall athleticism. And look, he's made incremental improvements every single year. And look at the result. Look at the production that the Cowboys have gotten out of this prospect. So again, I'm not saying he's going to be Tyron Smith. I'm just saying the foundation, the overall athleticism, the upside.
Austin Jackson, basically, it's pretty simple, guys. He needs to get needs to get meaner. You know, he has a little bit of a soft side to him. He needs to get meaner. You know, he's got to work on, like I said, resetting his feet when he gets beat for sure. And you know, he's got to work. And what's crazy is he's got good hand placement, guys. They're usually high and tight. It's just he doesn't play strong in that upper body like me and you are talking about right now. So they just get swatted away. But once he gets that big boy strength, it's only 20. It's harder to move those hands. You know, because you know, even though I say he's not that great at resetting his feet, buddy, he does move smoothly though, especially when he's getting into his pass sets, right? He like glides to his pass sets because
it's effortless. It's effortless. It's effortless.
So you know, he's just,
you see what I preferred, Mekhi Becton. What I preferred works. Yes. Jedrick Wills, yes. Maybe Andrew Thomas, yes. But in terms of what you would have to give it up, again, that tells me I think Miami had not to say that they didn't have these other players rated higher, but I don't think the evaluation in terms of the gap between this player and the rest of them was that significant, in my opinion, because Miami was in a position, you know, of surplus of resources to do whatever they wanted to do and get any player that they chose that they deemed worthy, and they chose to stand pat and select him. So that tells me that they are higher on this kid, and I believe it. I really truly believe that. And again, he will be a day one starter. He just has to come in and beat out Davenport. I mean, how hard is that going to be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
So he's gonna be a day one starter, and he's already better than Julian Davenport. Clearly, he's better than him.
Yeah.
So you get him, you select him. Your offensive line is automatically especially with the other additions that we attained in free agency. The offensive line is that much better.
Yeah. Agreed. So let's go into the kid that I think a lot of people are going to want to hear us talk about. Someone we dived into a little bit more. Someone on the stream yesterday where I tried to talk ball game down a little bit with the fact that, guys, this is one of the kids that they researched the most when it came to this whole process. And that's when we took at number 30, Noah Igbinoghene, the cornerback from Auburn. First of all, you know, I gave this a C+ at the time. I've sat on it. I'll give it a B- because I see why they did it. He's a scheme fit with how in terms of how he is with the tackler. You know, he had 210 press coverage snaps last year, second most in this draft class. And with what they want to run, again, that shows that he's a scheme fit. First year, not projecting to year 2 or 3, but first year he's probably going to fit in that slot, you know, and it's probably going to be him, Byron, and Xavier Howard out there in a lot of the press sets. So when you look at this kid, we drafted this guy again, another guy, good tackler, high upside. He's got good speed. He's very athletic. He needs to work on his ball instincts a little bit better. He guesses more than reading and reacting. He doesn't have the best ball instincts yet, but that's because he's a converted wide receiver, and those ball instincts will come in time for sure. And that's easy. You know, those ball instincts to an extent are something you can coach up because coaches can tell you, they can help you, push you along the way of what to look for, how to read the quarterback's eyes better, et cetera, et cetera. So when you look at this kid, you know, I gave it a C+. I'm thinking I'll move it up to a B-. My thing is I still think we could have got this kid at 56. That's why. I think we should have we had the pick of the lot with running back because Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't off the board. We had the pick of the lot with safety because they're not off the board. Thank God the board is still falling our way because there wasn't a big run on any of those guys. So what do you think of this pick, EM?
Well, in terms of a grade, I give it a solid B. And I'll be the first to admit this selection, this totally was a shock, not necessarily a shocker, but I didn't see this one coming. And I'll be the first to admit I wasn't, and it was just basically a lack of, film study that I didn't conduct on this kid. And because I thought I was coming from the standpoint of, I didn't think Miami deemed defensive back, they didn't deem a first round investment was warranted at that position.
Yeah, you basically didn't think. You basically thought, like I thought, if the luxury pick was going to come in the first round, it wasn't going to be on a position like this. You know what I mean? Like I thought the luxury pick would come on someone who's a top 15 talent that's slipped.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Jerry Judy's, a sexier pick, I should say. But I was just surprised, really surprised. But as I've had the time, as I digested this selection overnight, I dug up a lot of film. I watched like maybe an hour and a half worth of film on this kid last night. Did a little more research in terms of the production that Auburn got from him on the field this year. I was like, wow, this kid, you can clearly see why there was a high level of intrigue with this prospect as well. I mean, just scheme fit alone. Okay, first, you look at his profile, 5'10" and 5'10" and a half. He's got 31 or 32-inch arms. So the physical profile, height, weight, speed is there. I think he ran what?
4.48. He ran a 4.48.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he had
a 37-inch vertical. He had a 10-foot 8-inch broad jump, and his 10-yard split wasn't that great at 1.61 seconds. But other than that, yeah, I mean, with the broad jump, with the vertical, and the 40-yard, all of those were at least in the 70th percentile or higher.
Exactly. And so the profile is there. The athletic profile is there. Then you want to talk about what they asked him to do at Auburn. I think he had the third most reps in terms of in being an impress man situations this year.
He had the second most in this whole draft class. He had 210 press coverage sets.
And also, we talked about this last night. I saw that statistic that he gave up in terms of yards given up against him in man-to-man situations. He was like sixth best in the entire nation in the SEC. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
like it was in the 2018 season when Igbinoghene he only allowed a 41.9 completion percentage against him, while that's where he got his interception, and he had 14 forced incompletions, and that was his first year at the position after being converted from wide receiver.
Absolutely. His ability to mirror receivers, his ability to disrupt at the line of scrimmage, the hand placement, his feet, his ability to transition in and out of his breaks, the short area quickness, all of that skill set is there. Okay. So you can see why there's a high level of intrigue with this player. He was projected to go between round 2 and 3, okay, by a lot of individuals' projections, pre-draft projections.
Yeah.
So Miami, I think actually was a brilliant move. Slide back to 30. You make the trade with Green Bay. You slide back.
Get him on that cusp. You get him on that cusp of the second.
Exactly. Exactly. You pick up an additional 4th-round pick. I think it was a brilliant move from Chris Greer. And also, I'm looking at them selecting him. I can see Miami. I think this year, it all depends if they improve that much against the run. I can see Miami running a lot of dime packages this year. Yeah. Because you look at the New England Patriots. What teams play more man-to-man? They play more dime. They play more nickel than the New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins, and the Detroit Lions. So again, but it's all predicated on stopping the running game, because you can't get exotic unless you don't choke out the run game on first and second.
And I think a lot of people. I think if he repeated more of his 2018 season, I think people would have had him as a back half of the first, top of the second. Because when you go to that 2018 season, not only did he allow, he only allowed a 62 passer rating, on top of that 41.9 completion percentage. But this year, this year he allowed 35 catches on 68 targets for 431 yards, 2 scores, no picks, and 11 forced incompletions. But he allowed an 81.2 passer rating. So this year, I think he was another one of those guys where a lot of people saw a lot of things they liked on a sophomore season. They expected him to take that leap. He didn't quite take it, but the skill set, the profile, it's all there with the proper coaching that he could take that leap, right? It's just a matter of getting him in the right position in the situation.
And I think if he wasn't a wide receiver conversion, if he played all 4 years at this position and had that level of repetition, I think this kid could potentially be in a top 15 pick easily. Easily. So kudos. I love this pick. I gave it a solid B, but he needs refinement, just like, again, any player. But the foundation is there. The foundation is there. And again, when you're selecting players, when you're especially in the higher rounds, what you see on tape is the most important thing of the part of the evaluation, because you have to have a vision for a player. You have to have an idea of what you're going to be asking a player to do within the confines of your scheme. Yeah. And if you look at each one of these picks strategically, they are, again, I can't stress.
It's scheme fits with high upside if they're coaching.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, I agree. And guys, I mean, I think Igbinoghene is going to start in the slot this year. And then I think the possibilities for year 2 or 3, if they don't like what they see from Xavier Howard, Needham can step in there, or you can kick this kid out and he can play so many different positions. So
and also we shouldn't lose. We should be mindful of the fact of how versatile Byron Jones is, not just the boundary, to play free safety. Yeah, to play free safety. So it gives us so much flexibility in terms of whatever schemes we want to implement week to week. So much flexibility. So I like this pick. Solid B with the potential to be, this kid has Pro Bowl potential. And a lot of the comps that I've seen, the comparisons of, already established NFL players, one of them that popped up was Xavier Howard. Similar traits, similar body type. When he came out of Baylor,
you don't got those Howard ball instincts by a quarter mile, though. That's the only difference.
Well, Xavier Howard didn't have that in terms of taking the ball away. He didn't have that kind of production at Baylor either. Mm-hmm. So,
man,
and this kid doesn't have the durability issues.
So, guys, let's go over our grades again. For Tua, I gave an A+. For Austin Jackson, I moved up from a B- to a B as I sat there and thought about it. And on Noah Igbinoghene, I moved up from a C+ to a B-. So that's where I'm sitting on day 1. EM, can you run through all 3 grades for these players all over again?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Can you give me your grades all over again for these 3 players?
A++ for Tua Tagovailoa. I gave a B+ for Austin Jackson based on his overall ceiling, based on his overall upside, and I gave this one a solid B. And it's only because, like I said, I can't sit up here and say I give it an A. He wasn't this kid again. I didn't think Miami were going to select a defensive back in the first round, and I had very limited intel on this particular prospect. So I can't sit up here after the fact that we drafted him and sit up here and say, "Oh, I knew they were going to get him and this and that or whatever. I was high on this kid." No. After conducting more film study on this kid last night and gathering all the information, I think this kid, I give it a solid B with the potential to turn out to be an A, 2-3 years down the road. So,
and I know there's a couple of people in the comments who were on TD stream last night, and they were there when I facetiously said before they made this 30th pick, watch them take that corner from Auburn that they'd done a bunch of work on, and boom, the hammer dropped. And that was just me saying these guys are going to go off script.
And when they were talking about the potential reach that the Miami made for him, Chris Grier came out and was emphatic. He was the best player on our board at that point.
Yeah.
So clearly they had an extremely high grade on him. Clearly,
like I told Ball Game last night, brother, they've done so much work on him. They must have seen something that they really liked. So absolutely. So you know what I mean?
This is where we have to trust their evaluation. We have to do it at every player.
And I want to hit you quickly. We'll just cover this quick, EM, and then we'll get into some questions in the comments. And before we get into the questions, we're going to go over what we want to see in day 2 in terms of pick-wise. But check this out, EM. So the Texans to extend Laramie Tunsil. This is at 1:45 p.m. The Texans have reached agreement on a 3-year extension for left tackle Laramie Tunsil. The new deal includes a $22 million annual salary $57 million guaranteed, and a $13 million signing bonus. What do you think about that, EM? About him becoming the highest paid tackle at $22 million?
Wow, that's expensive. But the contract, what he put on tape this year, the contract is warranted. I mean, Larry Tunsil is one of the more talented players, not just left tackles, but he's one of the more talented players in the entire league. So I think if he still was a Miami Dolphin, we would be making that investment. But I just think, the capital that we were going to get in that trade was just too good to pass up. I don't think for 1 second Miami wanted to get rid of him. I don't think Miami would have had a problem paying him, a contract similar to that one. So he warranted. I love Larry Tunsil. I still follow him. I love him as a player, and I'm looking for him to move forward to improve because I think he has Hall of Fame type ability. But it's definitely warranted. And the Houston Texans, they had to make that. They had to give him that deal. They had to. There's no way Bill O'Brien could have justified giving up 2 first-round picks for a player, and you turn around and let him walk because you don't extend him. There's no way. The Texans had to do that. So Larry Tunsil had all the leverage in his negotiations, and so I'm happy for him.
So, I mean, I'll go over quickly who I want to go because I'll let you go into further depth. So, guys, when it comes to day 2, so I personally want them to acquire another pick on day 2 because what I want to basically see, guys, is I want to see DeAndre Swift or Jonathan Taylor fill that running back role. I want to see Antoine Winfield or Ashton Davis fill that safety role. I want to see Raekwon Davis get selected on tonight by us, another guy we've done a ton of homework on. And I also want, and who me and EM think is a great scheme fit for what they want to run across that defensive front. And I want, guys, Lucas Niang, or, I want an Ezra Cleveland, or I want a Josh Jones, but I'm hearing, guys, that Josh Jones could be the first player off the board tonight to the Bengals. So if you're going to kick Austin or Josh Jones to the right, I want Josh Jones or I want Lucas Niang. I want 4 picks tonight, guys, because my problem with the luxury pick of Noah Igbinoghene is if we would have took that safety or that running back, that's one less thing we got to take today. So that I really want to come away with Raekwon. I want to come away with one of those 2 running backs. I want to come away with one of those 2 safeties, and I want to come away with another tackle. Where are you at, EM, with what you want to see them come away with? Like, you want to see them come away with possibly a 3-4 defensive end as well? Like, what do you see?
It's 3 players that I must have on day 2. 3. Okay. Well, 3 positions that must be addressed. Safety, in my opinion, running back and nose tackle. Mm-hmm. I think, again, I might be a little higher on Jesse Davis than 90% of our fan base. I get it. But
I just want to kick him back to guard, bro, his natural position, and then we don't got to get guard in the 5th round. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Go get a guy like James Proche from SMU and get that slot receiver.
I hear you, and I get it. That's legitimate. Yeah. I can't argue that. But I'm talking about as pressing needs. Jesse Davis proved last year he can be serviceable. Okay. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, those are the 3 glaring holes that we have. We have little to nothing at those positions: running back, safety, nose tackle. And again, I think the board fell perfectly in terms of the needs that we have in the depth that fell to the 2nd and 3rd round. It fell. The board is structured perfectly for the Dolphins to address their needs. Considering the depth, no running back was taken in the 1st round. Not 1 safety was taken in the 1st round. No nose tackles were taken in the 1st round. So Miami's in a perfect, ideal situation to address their 3 most glaring needs on day 2.
And what happened, EM? The one running back that went isn't necessarily a fit for what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
Back, right?
Exactly. I'm not high on him. And I'll say this. I just prefer these other prospects as opposed to him. So
it's
Miami's
that 40 speed we don't like either, right?
Exactly. So, you know, the board fell perfect in Miami's favor. I mean, they couldn't ask for better in terms of the board falling to them. They couldn't have structured it any better than the way things fell. So I think they're going to be aggressive in addressing it. I would love to see them be aggressive and package those 2 fourths and try to jump back up into the second or third round.
That's what I'm saying. I want 4 picks on day 2, bro.
Exactly.
I want you to get the running back at 39, the safety at 56. I want basically I want you to come out with, if we only got 3 picks and I don't get my 4th witch, knock the guard off, knock the tackle off, because I want Ashton Davis or Winfield, I want Taylor or Swift, and I want Raekwon Davis.
Absolutely.
And I could see them guys prioritizing Raekwon with that 39 or 56 and them sitting till 70th and seeing if a guy like Ashton Davis falls to them at 70.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
Like, I could very well see Swift or Taylor at 39, then they come back and they hit Raekwon, and then they go and get their safety at 70.
If they
because of the work they've done on Raekwon, it just makes me feel
they're
going to try and ensure they lock him
in. Yeah, absolutely. And again, he's a first-round talent all day. He's a first-round talent.
He is. And what we want to do, man? Oh,
perfect. And again, I told you, if a player with value like a Leaky Fatu is in there in the 4th round, I would even double up on him as well.
Agreed.
You have that position solidified. You can let Devon Gottschall walk in free agency and collect a compensatory pick the next year.
Because guys,
exactly.
About a month ago, Drew Rosenhaus said on Twitter, "You're next up," and then had a bunch of money bag emojis. So they've got their eyes on the bag right now, and Devon Gottschall ain't worth the bag for what we're trying to do. Guys.
And you can make a legitimate argument that Raekwon Davis and Leaky Fatu are better players than Devon Gottschall.
I will say they are better players than Devon Gottschall.
Absolutely.
Buddy, how are you going to move Leaky Fatu? That's trying to.
I know, right?
That's trying to move like a high-rise building in the middle of a line, bro.
I know, right? So you're set up. So you're set. You double up at that position if he's there. If you can target those 2 players at that position, you're set for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
So.
Because I mean, we got
what I want to see.
We got the 134th, we got the 153rd, we got the 154th, we got the 175th. We got another pick in the 180s. Like, we're all over. Once you get to 130 and up, between 130 and 185, I'm pretty sure we have 5 picks. So, let's move out of there and let's get into the top 100. I think, man, there's a lot of talent in that top 100. And I think we got to move up there a little bit, man.
I agree. I think
that's smart.
Absolutely. And if I'm not saying I wouldn't. I would be mad if they made. If they selected another tackle. That they thought. Depending on where they picked him at. If he offered a lot of value, depending on where they're picking, I would be upset.
Well, look at how I structured it, bro. That's who I would be trading back up into the top 100 for.
Yeah,
I would be trading back into the top 100 for a Jack Driscoll or, an Ezra Cleveland or a Lucas Niang if he's sliding. That's what I would be doing. I would prioritize that running back, that safety, and that nose. I'd prioritize Ashton Davis or Winfield, Jonathan Taylor or Andre Swift and Raekwon Davis with those first 3 picks, man. And
I agree.
And Gerald Alexander and his tie to Ashton Davis, I think that gives us that ability to maybe sit back to 70 and make sure we get Raekwon with that 39th to that 56th, man.
Absolutely. So, I agree. So, yeah, man.
As far as we know, our top 3 safeties and our top 3 running backs are still on the board. Yep. So what we have right now, Raekwon is, I believe, Raekwon's our third, our third fit, right? And he's
initially he was our second, but I had to put Kinlaw slightly above him because of overall his overall ability. But I think Raekwon would be ideal for what, if you implement him in our scheme, what we would be asking him to do.
I have to ask you, the way that board, because you weren't on with us, the way that board was falling yesterday, I was on the stream, and I was saying, I believe we were at the San Francisco pick, and I said, man, if they stay pat at 18, I said, and Javon Kinlaw and Jerry Jeudy are on that board, I said, you have to go off a need, and you got to take Kinlaw or Jeudy. So I got to ask you, if you were at 18 and Jerry Jeudy and Kinlaw were there, or Austin Jackson, who would you have picked?
Oh, man, bro.
Because I actually, and guys, I'm offensive, and I probably would have leaned Kinlaw.
Me too. I was going to say the exact same thing. I would have to. That his upside, and again, you plug him in day one, he's a starter.
Yeah.
Not to say that Austin Jackson is not going to be, but I think this kid, he's more advanced in his level of at his stage of development than where Aston Davis is. I'm sorry, Austin Jackson. He's further along in his development. So, I would lean more towards Kinlaw as well.
And he has the frame, EM, because he was about 30 pounds heavier when he arrived at South Carolina a couple years ago. So he's got the frame. If you asked him to put more weight on in the middle of the line, he could do it. So
and if when you put his tape on, like his get off, his first step quickness is what a lot of people are harping on as his most valued skill. But if you look at his hand placement, his ability to stack offensive linemen, I mean, his hand placement is like impeccable. His strength in his hand. You remember, if you go back and remember when they introduced Patrick Graham and also Flores, and they asked him what they deemed, traits that they deemed the most important in terms of their, in terms of a defensive player. And they basically outlined those two gap, concepts, and heavy hand placement, being strong, being heavy-handed. They overly emphasize those traits. And when you put on Kinlaw's tape, especially when he's engaged one-on-one, it is like nobody. They put on the Alabama tape in particular. Those are grown men. Those are NFL level talent that he was just throwing around like rag dolls. Stacking them. I mean, splitting double teams. I mean, this kid, I was like, wow. So, I would lean more towards that kid because I think he's going to go to San Francisco.
Buddy,
what
did
man.
Did I not say to you when we talked last night after I got off the stream? I called EM as soon as I got off. Did I not say to you, I thought San Francisco next to us, they had the best draft.
I agree.
Adding picks.
I agree.
They just went to the Super Bowl, and they were being the most aggressive team in the first round, and they had like some of the least amount of capital to work with. So I got to give John Lynch kudos on that. They you replaced DeForest Buckner with Javon Kinlaw. That's an upgrade, I think.
Absolutely. And see, you look Kinlaw. If you look at the San Francisco 49ers defensive line, if you look at the profile of all their players, they have. On the interior and on the outside, they have more athletic guys that are, with the exception of Nick Bosa. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is pretty much, their strong suit is athleticism as opposed to like power and hand placement and technique. This kid, Kinlaw, when you're swapping out him and DeForest Buckner, this kid gives you the athleticism that Buckner gives you, in addition to the power, you know what I mean? Especially at the point of engagement, much better on the run, in the run game. So this kid is complete, and I think they upgraded. I mean, I think he was definitely an upgrade for their defensive line, and it's going to be scary. That rush, that push he's going to get on the interior, it's just going to make everybody else better on that D-line, bro. Yeah. They're going to be scary again next year. So.
Yeah, they're going to be it's going to be frightful. I got to ask you this about, what do you think about Green Bay moving up for Jordan Love?
Oh, man, I think that's the ideal place for Jordan Love. I really do. He can sit, and if you look at his, his profile and his style of play is very similar to Aaron Rodgers. His strong suit, making off-platform throws, his improvisational ability. I mean, arm strength, arm talent, release point. They all mirror. They are eerily similar to Aaron Rodgers. So So I think him going there, sitting behind him, and hopefully, Aaron Rodgers, is not, real salty towards him.
We all know he is. It already came out that he feels betrayed.
Hopefully, he'll be more mature in that in that regard.
But you kind of understand where he's coming from. They were one game away last year, and they told him they were going to go get him weapons, and they trade up for a quarterback. But at the same token, Brett Favre was 35 when they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is 36.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this. You can see Aaron Rodgers, the lack of structure in his mechanics is starting to catch up with him right now.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
And I get it. I get why they're potentially moving off of him, but it's going to be crazy to think that potentially in a year or two, if this guy wants to play till 40, you might see him in a different uniform.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
It's absolutely crazy to me when you think about it, right?
But you can definitely see the similarities with those two players. And again, I think that's an ideal place for him. Offensive-minded coach. So yeah, I think that ultimately it'll wind up being a blessing in disguise for him that he slid. Because I think for him to bust out, and what I mean by bust out and be a bust, I'm talking about on the level of like a Jamarcus Russell or a Ryan Leaf level type bust potential. I think any quarterback, either of these top four quarterbacks are just too talented to totally bust out and get like Josh Rosen level production out of them. I don't think either one of these quarterbacks are too gifted and too talented to do that. But but I think it's a good spot for him. I don't know if it didn't make Aaron Rodgers happy, and but he's just gonna have to get over it. He's 36 years old.
Some people in the comments are making some good. I think Scotty Joe suggested, imagine if Aaron Rodgers goes to San Francisco because he's a Cal kid, right? Yeah. And they passed on him and in that draft, they passed on him for Alex Smith. And I remember seeing his reaction. Vincenti's got a question, and I'm going to let you feel this. It's going to be in the mid 70s, but Vincenti asked, what do you think Tua's Madden rating is going to be? I'm going to say 74 because they usually lowball rookies. That's just how they do.
Yeah, overall, it'll be 74, 75.
Yeah, like Burrow's going to probably be like a 76 or 77. Yeah.
But I don't necessarily go by in terms of rookies. I don't go by their overall rating. I go by their individual attributes, like arm strength, accuracy, speed, agility, acceleration, etc. So I don't necessarily pay attention to the overall.
When's that update coming, bro? Because I got to start a new franchise when that update drops.
I'm sure it'll be here probably Monday.
Yeah, it'll be by the end of the weekend, right? The question is, and I want to hear what everyone has to say in the comments. Throw it in there. What number do you think Tua's gonna rock? I want to see him in 10, but I got a feeling it's gonna be 8. I'd want to see 10, but I got a feeling it's gonna be 8. What do you think, EM? Everyone in the comments, let us know what number you think he's gonna rock. What do you think, EM?
Man, I'm thinking. Wow, that's a good question, bro. He said he would rock any number. It's fine.
He'd look best in 3, but we got someone on the roster holding up that number right now.
I think he looks better with double digits, I think. So I'm thinking probably 10.
Yeah, I think it would look good in 10. So what we got in the comments, we got what do we got here? We got 17, 3, 2, 3, 2, 10 or 5, 12, 12, 10, 11, 2, 3, 7 or 8, 17 or 8, 3, 11. Parker has 11. That's the bond. Rhino says wears 5. Insanity says 16. Going with the Montana. And that's actually interesting because no one really rocked that recently, right? Kill says 17. Darth 12. Douglas 3. 14. Kill says 69. Finn's Dynasty says 9. Moneyback says number 1. So, and then someone said, I heard on the Big O show he wore 11.
Speaking of the Big O show, And as far as the cornerback, sorry, I don't want to butcher his name, but we all know who I'm talking about. The
Noah
quarterback,
Igbinoghene?
who we
Yeah,
took at 30. He said a trusted high-level scout that he's trusted for years. He basically texted him evaluation of him,
yeah.
and according to Big O, this particular scout was extremely high on us selecting him at 30. He even said that he thought he could even go higher, and he gave an explanation. He basically gave him his evaluation. What the guy texted him, live, and he said this kid, especially coming from the standpoint of skills, scheme fit, he
Yeah.
absolutely loved this selection, bro. So Big O was talking about that earlier this morning.
Look what Esteban said. Esteban suggested 11, and then he told Parker can kick rocks to make way for Tua.
Mm-hmm.
The dedication, I love it. Yo, why don't you because you tuned into the Big O show. Apparently we're getting some shout out. Just reiterate that and shout out the people if you remember anyone who was shouting us out, because I wasn't watching today.
Yeah, I don't remember their names specifically, individually, but basically the overall theme was that they appreciate the show, the content, the approach of the show, compared to other dolphin centric, YouTubers or whatnot, and they just were pleased with the content and just saying that keep up the good work, keep the content coming. So that's greatly appreciated. You know who you were, who I engaged with this morning on the Big O show. I'm sorry if I didn't remember your name specifically, but that's greatly appreciated. Glad to see people, are enjoying and hopefully it's enlightening your football knowledge. And so that's been a consistent approach. The reason I started at the beginning stages of, even before we started, we talked about, we wanted to, if we were to ever get to this point, we wanted to be a more informative, take a more film-based approach to the content that we were projecting out within the Dolphin community. So hopefully, it's enlightening and refreshing for people, and it's good to see that we're having a positive impact within our community, bro. Very, very, very refreshing to see that.
Yeah, we appreciate all the love because I know George is always on there. I know Esteban is always on there. I know a couple of you other guys are always on there. So, man, just the love for continuously sharing and supporting, man. It's nothing but love. So, Darth Vader says, EM, where's Bobby McCain, Charles Harris, and Josh Rosen's bus ticket?
Don't worry. Stay tuned. They are coming. I promise you. They are coming.
Sharif West suggests, I would trade picks 247, 254 to get 216. Then I'd trade 216, 187 to get 136. Then trade 141 and 153 to get 104. You still have 154, 136, 134, 104, 70, and all those second round picks. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we're getting up to around that 100 cusp, 104. So I don't mind that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew picks, are you guys going to be live on your channel or TD's channel? So I'll be back on TD's stream tonight. I don't think EM is going to be joining us again. And the reason why, guys, is I said on stream yesterday, he's got a delay and he wants to enjoy those picks as they come in, right? He doesn't want to kind of have them spoiled. So it'll be the same thing. We'll be back here tomorrow in the day for another recap where you'll get to hear all of EM's thoughts and how everything rolled through. So, I might chime in and out if I might be in and out, but I'll probably jump on afterwards. I hate that. I just like to sit and I don't like any noise going on when I'm sitting and watching the draft. I don't like any distractions, and I definitely don't like people giving away the picks before I get them on my end. You know what I mean? So that's a huge issue for me. So, but I'll be in and out though. I'll be in and out. And guys, tomorrow when we go live, day 3 is going to be going on, so we might stick around here for a little bit because day 3 will be going on. So we'll see how that rolls. Nico says, "What do you think if we drafted Denzel Mims or Mims?"
I love it.
I don't know why I call it I call them memes because you remember
Yeah,
that.
I do too. I do too. I don't know why.
It's just, yeah, but Denzel Mims. What would you think if we drafted Denzel Mims?
I love that kid's profile, bro. His athletic profile. I love his
Yeah.
potential, dude. I really do.
You know what he is? You know what he is,
But
bro?
you know,
He's a faster, more athletic version of DK Metcalf when I look
he
at him.
is. He is. And I think he's a more refined route runner
Yeah.
than what Metcalf was at this stage last year.
Oh, yeah,
but I'm hearing
he limited his route when he came out this year, right? So
yeah. And I've been hearing consistently for about 2 weeks now that Miami's extremely high on him. Extremely. But I think they'll probably have to get him in a second round. I don't see him falling to the third. I really don't.
No, either do I. I was actually surprised when that run on the 20 started happening of wide receivers and he didn't go. I was actually kind of shocked. Scotty Joe says running backs or safeties, which will be run on the earliest tonight.
What's that, bro? I'm sorry, I was looking at the comments. My bad.
Scotty Joe asked, "What do we think? Will running backs or safeties? Which one of those two will have the early run tonight?"
Oh, I think running backs, bro. I think running backs. That's a lot of talent. You have 3 franchise potential backs that are sitting there on the board in the second round. 3.
Yeah.
So I think running back, there will be the talent level at the running back position surpasses the overall talent that's available at the safety position, in my opinion. Not gonna be totally off base and wrong, but you have 3 potential, definitely 2 franchise altering backs sitting there. So I think the run will be there, and I think hopefully Miami realizes that, and they go get, who I love, DeAndre Swift. But if somebody gets him, Jonathan Taylor would be a good fallback plan, I think. Or I would be happy with J.K. Dobbins as well.
That's what I. That'd be fine with me.
So that'd be
at
fine.
least they got one of the top 3 guys, right? Kills YT asks, how do you feel about CBS Sports giving the Dolphins an A+ on Noah Igbinoghene?
Oh, absolutely. We talked about this earlier, bro. There's I'm telling you, a lot of mainstream evaluators are giving that pick. They deem that pick excellent. They are high on this kid's upside and ability. Again, I think the fan base is sleeping on that pick because, and I'm guilty of it as well. Number one, we just didn't think the Dolphins would make a first-round investment on a cornerback. You know what I mean? Number one. Then 2, again, for that reason only, we just didn't do, enough research on this kid. So we were it threw us off guard. It totally surprised us. Yeah. So, but if you look at a lot of the mainstream evaluators, they consider this pick, Bleacher Report, CBS, Walter Football, WalterFootball.com, ESPN, they deem this pick excellent. They deem this pick excellent. B+ and better is what I've been seeing.
I'm going to sit on my B- guys, and the reason why it's a B- is, like I said, I think you could have got this kid at 56. So that's where I'm just at with that. I didn't think it was a little bit of a reach. But our boy Joe B. Keaton Williamson, okay? Yeah.
Joe.
He's out here.
Hey, you need to drop that link for Joe real quick. I need to say what's up to my homie. Drop that link for him, Reason. Let him hop in here real quick.
Let me go through a couple questions. He asked, would y'all have traded pick 18 and 26 for pick 3, draft 2 at 3, and get offensive line, elite O-line at 5? Joe B., I said earlier, I would have moved on San Francisco. I said it at the beginning of the stream yesterday. I would have given them 18 and I would have given them 70, and you would have beat Tampa Bay's compensation, and I would have moved up and I would have got Tristan Wirfs. And I think that's why you saw Tampa Bay move up 1 spot, is because we were cracking those phone lines because we were trying to move up, and we just wouldn't pay that rich price. That's the only reason.
I agree. I would have definitely entertained that as well. But I think at the end of the day, moving forward next year, I think at the end of the day, I think Miami's approach, how they just sat pat, how disciplined they were. I think that's going to be the approach that pays the biggest dividend for us moving forward, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if they would have moved up to 13, they would have had to give it up some of their resources in the later half of the rounds, and that would have prevented the possibility to moving back up into the second or third round. And I think that's Miami's ultimate objective, because I've been consistent about this during this, in the beginning of this process. The sweet spot in this draft is the late first round, second, third round area in terms of the needs that the Miami Dolphins need. They will be able to address every one of their needs, within that area of the draft. And I think that's going to be their approach. I think they're going to be aggressive and try to move up into that back half second round, pick up an additional second round pick, as well as an additional third. And now the 2 fourths is very attainable. Very attainable.
So Pyromancer asks, who should we look out for leading to our pick? So I guess he's talking about like with our first pick in the second round. I'm gonna stick to it. I think it's gonna be I think they're gonna take running back at that 39 because the safeties still haven't been touched yet. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So Kiana asks, what do you think about the rumors about us trading back from the 39th pick? Ian Rappaport tweeted about this morning.
I haven't heard that, bro. Well, to entertain a trade back, again, I just have to see how the board falls. If there's a run on tackles as opposed to running backs, or if there's a run on a position, it just depends. Again, it just depends on how the board falls.
What kind of compensation would you be looking for that 39th pick?
A later second and another fourth. Would that get it done, you think? If the Saints or a team like that wanted to jump to 39, we attain not the Saints, because I think we have their pick this year, but a team with the second round pick, they want to jump up to 30, 37. Definitely I want to get their second, I want to attain their second round pick. But a fourth, I think, would get it done. I would entertain for an additional fourth. I definitely would.
Yeah.
So that'd be 3 fourth round picks that you have. And you could package 2 of those, jump back up into the third, and then you still have another fourth available to you. But again, if it's a player that it just depends on how the board falls. If the board falls the way it did in the back half of the first round, where there's not a run on running backs, there's not a run on safety. If we think we can target, we trade back a few slots, and we can get our running back and safety later in picking up the additional capital. Yeah, I would definitely entertain that. Most definitely.
Yeah, so here's what Ian Rappaport is saying, some buzz around round 2. Among the players the Bengals like at 33 are Ross Blacklock and Denzel Mims. The Colts at 34 and the Dolphins at 39, open to moving out. And Saints, Jets, Jaguars, Falcons among the teams who have made calls to move up. So now that means I've heard Josh Jones, Ross Blacklock, and Denzel Mims as possibilities with that first pick of round 2 tonight. So those are things you guys should look out for sure. Tarek asks, what happens to Josh Rosen? What happens is our boy EM over here prints out a bus ticket. I pull up in the bus. This guy ushers him onto the bus, and I take him to the airport. That's what happens, guys.
Period. He's done. He's done.
So, yeah, man.
Something, to be honest with you, Reason, I wouldn't even be shocked if he's moved at some point today or tomorrow. I would, if I saw that Bleacher Report update on my phone, once I get that notification, I would not be surprised at all if he's moved.
Rhino says EM at least get Rosen an Uber.
No, he don't deserve an Uber. Absolutely not. Put his behind on the bus.
Joe tells him to kick rocks.
Yeah, he don't deserve Uber. Put his behind on a bus, bro, and get him out of here.
You know what, guys? Let's try something right now. I'm gonna drop the StreamYard link. Okay, guys. Joe B, a couple of you, if you want to come on here, ask a question or say a comment, we'll rotate through a bunch of you guys before we get out of here, so you can ask your questions live.
Or just give that shout out that positivity, within the Dolphin universe. You know what I mean? Just get on, talk about what how you think the draft went, and better days are coming.
Yeah, man. So what we're gonna do is you come on. We'll hear your thoughts. We'll hear your comments. We'll take your questions, and then if there's a bunch of people backstage, we'll hop you off. We'll rotate someone else in, and we'll do that a little bit before we get out of here. We peaked at 134 people in the room right now. We got about 95. So we'll give it a few minutes, and we'll see what we have. I know EM really wants to see Joe B on there.
Joe.
Yeah. Scotty,
hey, as far as TD's platform is concerned, if we're the biggest, tour supporters, he's a close third, bro. He's a close third.
And Scotty Joe says, is Gallimore worth a pick tonight? I don't think we're gonna go for him, but he's a Canadian boy, so I will be rooting for him for sure. So there he is.
Joe, what's good, homie? What's good?
I'm so glad y'all. Thank y'all for letting me on the channel, and man, I was happy, man. I'm happy, but you can only project what the player is gonna do, but you like Reason said, you go off of what he did in college, and you go off of his ability, and Tua had the most pro ready. Okay. And all that stuff with the smoke screens and stuff. I wasn't even worried about that, man. I just know, hey, I see it. That's why I respect you two, because no disrespect, you two are football nerds, because you helped me get more into, okay, I gotta watch this tape. I gotta understand what he's doing, what the offense is doing, what the defense is doing. Mm-hmm. And by all of that knowledge, okay, this is a good prospect. This guy can translate to the next level. And I took y'all's advice, and it coincided with, hey, what I saw, what the experts said on TV, and I said, okay, I put all my chips in on Tua, and all the knowledge that y'all had about him. Hey, I don't want to be long, but man, I'm just so it's like when in 76. When they got Marino, and my older brother told me, man, Marino is good. And I said, okay, he's good. But now I have knowledge with about how the ability that this quarterback has, Tua has, and I say, okay, he's good. He's going to take our franchise to that next level.
And Joe, you remember, because you was on TD's platform in the early stages, and you remember what I was always consistent about getting in the film room. That was always my what I was trying to relay to the fan base. You get in the film room, people took that as being I was trying to insult them. No, it's just so you can learn more. I had to do it. Everybody has to get in the film room. So that's good to see that, bro, because that's always been my approach whenever I whenever I address somebody, and I tell them, please get in the film room, because you just learn so much. And when you have that knowledge, you can be as close, you can be looking through as the same lens as the coaches look through in terms of player evaluation. And that's a more accurate approach to the game, as opposed to living in that Madden Ultimate Team world. You know what I mean? So that's always been my approach. Always.
And y'all don't come off as experts. Y'all just do your homework.
Exactly.
That's it.
So everybody can do the same thing. Everybody. We're no different than nobody else.
Yes, brother. Bless up, Joe, for coming through.
Appreciate you, homie.
All right, man.
We're going to get through to these other guys. But, Joe, whenever we do this, come through for sure. So, Darth, Sharif, what's up, guys? We'll start with Sharif because he was backstage first. Let us know what you're thinking, brother.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me? Good day, everyone.
Oh, hey, how you doing, friend? How you doing?
Man, I really appreciate how you doing, Darth Vader. I really appreciate EM, your film breaking down, and what I appreciate about you, EM, is that you're not only able to look at the football on the cusp, you're able to do what I am very passionate about, which is film study. This the same things that I fell in love with Flores, which is extension. balance and groundwork, and for the defensive lineman and offensive lineman meaning. But the schemes, ball game talks about it a lot too. But I love to go beyond because I want to know why the Dolphins failed, why I chose my option versus where they were heading. And trade scenarios is up into the 70 through 34 Dolphin fans. We have a big gap from 70 to 134. My dream is I don't care what they do. We need to at least get the 90th pick, the 110th pick, and the 120th pick. We have to at least attempt to get that. And I had a plan. I think Reason answered it in the comments. But the plan is basically, to picks to move up until you get, adequate fourth round picks. So I'll let someone else get in. I appreciate you guys once again. You guys do a fantastic job, and I'll be in once again for round 3 and 4.
Absolutely. Hey, it's greatly
So
appreciated, my friend. It's greatly appreciated, my friend.
Yeah, and shout out to you over there in Bahamas, man. Much love, Sharif. You
absolutely
always showing love, man. Darth Vader,
what's good? What's good?
What up? What up, EM? What up, Reason?
What's good, buddy? What's on your mind?
I was actually, call me crazy. Was I the one? Did you guys see like DeAndre Swift getting picked at 26 for on tripping? And then we traded back with Green Bay, and then we end up getting that Auburn corner.
Oh, you meant like, did we see the pick come through?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that. Did you see that, EM?
I could have sworn
I seen it on Twitter.
Oh, that happened with me with the Eagles when I thought they were taking Justin Jefferson because they had him all up on the screen and they had his name along the bottom, and I was like, oh, they're taking Justin, and then they took Jalen Rager. But that
was definitely wishful thinking on my part. Yeah, I was reading my mind. So, no, I didn't see that.
Get him at 39, though. I hope we get him.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But what was I going to say? Would you use that 4th round pick that we got from the Green Bay Packers for a trade package for O.J. Howard?
I mean, if they'll take that, for
absolutely.
Because that's
sure. But I think that's going to be. I don't think that's going to be rich enough for what they're looking for. That's the problem.
And you know something, we didn't touch on that. I would be prioritizing a potential trade for him in day 2 if I'm the Dolphins. He would be, just like the selections who I think we must have. A potential trade in acquiring him would be a priority for me. So if they would take that, absolutely. I would even consider sending both of those 4th round picks to him.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing, if you didn't use that luxury pick on a slot corner, and I'm not knocking the pick, but if you didn't use the luxury pick on that slot corner, you could still identify the nose tackle, safety, the running back, and then you could have used one of those picks on O.J. Howard. But yeah, I think it's going to cost at least a 2nd rounder to get O.J. Howard, because I think Bruce Arians, I believe, came out last night and they said that they're excited to line him up with Gronk. So I don't think
give him a 2nd round pick next year.
Exactly.
You got 2 of them.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
the Texans one.
Exactly.
That's what I would do.
Yeah,
exactly.
Allocated next year capital, 110%. That's
and I feel like Jerome Baker is on the trading block because I don't feel like he fits with this scheme. My opinion.
Yeah.
I would want Roquan Davis at 56, pick 56, because I could feel he could be Godchild's replacement and let him walk, and we could get a compensatory pick for that. That's what I'm hoping for. But
yeah, he can play every position on the front 3.
He reminds me of Eric Armstead, kind of.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Well, you already know how I feel about Jerome Baker.
To me, he's the Isaiah. His skill set is Isaiah Simmons, and no, I don't. I like Isaiah Simmons, but I just feel like if we would have drafted him, he would be another Jerome Baker.
I think Jerome Baker. I just think scheme-wise, I think he's better suited as a weak side outside linebacker in a base 4-3. I just don't see him.
They put him in the middle this past season, and I'm like,
right, clearly, and then you're not going to play him primarily on the edge in a 3-4. You're not going to do that. So I think he adds value to a team, and he does bring value to us. But I just think his value doesn't warrant the amount of snaps that he got last year. I just don't believe that. He's a specialist type of player, meaning you bring him in and out of his passing situations because his strong suit is coverage. I give him that.
Yeah.
He can cover.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, the addition of Gruger Hill, drastically minimizes his value to this team because Gruger Hill is like twice the athlete Jerome Baker is. So, and he has more experience playing on the interior in a 3-4 than what Jerome Baker has. So again, the addition of him drastically minimizes his value to our team. But I think I'm with you 100%. I would definitely entertain a trade, and I would look to be moving off from Jerome Baker at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. And the safety I want isn't our secondary coach, the coach from Cal that used to coach
Gerald
Alexander.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I would want either Ashton Davis or I know he's like a later round safety that played with Ashton Davis. He's like in the 7th round. I wouldn't mind picking him up like in the 7th or 6th round. Scheme fit.
I would take if we miss out on Winfield Jr. or a guy like Ashton Davis, then Jeremy Chin or Kyle Duggar to me would become the options.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Any last thoughts, Darth, before we get Larry on here?
No. I would just want to just say what I think we should do in the 2nd round, and keep throwing that heat to TD about Tua. It's Tua time. I don't care what anybody says. Josh Rosen, you can get those out of South Beach.
Smart man right there. Smart man.
All right.
All right, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I always tweet you on everything, and I will just let you know.
I appreciate the talk we have on Twitter all the time. I appreciate the love you always show here and on TD for us, man. So, Darth, it ain't nothing but love, man. Respect you, bro. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I will be watching the draft at TD's channel. So,
awesome.
We'll be on there. We'll be on there. Tell Rhino, you need to jump in here, bro. If you're still in the comments.
Larry L, what's going on,
Larry L, what's going on, man?
Okay, hey, I appreciate it because there's a lot of Dolphins news that you guys are doing this. More importantly, it's a rainy day here in Tampa, Florida, so it makes it even worse not doing nothing. So I got guys to talk to.
You're in Tampa. You're in Tampa. Tell me how, before we get into the Dolphin stuff, how are they feeling about what they did in the draft, trading up to get Wirfs? Are they excited out there?
Oh, yes, they are. But you know what? I'm not as excited as they are about Wirfs. Tampa has good guards. By the way, guys, I said it before. Tampa is a good football team.
Yeah.
Okay. If it wasn't for Winston deciding to throw interceptions and losing the last 2 games, they could have made a serious run in the playoffs. Yeah. Now, their big need is that I always said it. They got a decent left tackle. They have Dotson, who was below average, in my opinion. They got quality guards at a good center. So my problem with Wirfs is he's not a true right tackle. Matter of fact, all the experts like you guys says his best position might be guard. Now, is he an upgrade? Yes. A right tackle is going to be a right tackle is going to be an upgrade. I love the Gronkowski move because it gives Brady more and as I told you, I'm a numbers guy. I don't know. I told you guys that, right? Yeah. But numbers can lie, and I understand that. Tampa's defense is going to be an elite defense this year. You don't go by last year's numbers because their rookies grew as their season went along. Okay.
Well, didn't they finish in the top 10 last year? I thought they were top 10 defense already.
No, they weren't because they start off so poorly because 2 reasons. One, they have rookie corners, both of them. Carlton Davis and the other guy, Sean Bunting. And they didn't play particularly well while they were learning. And a bigger reason is because Vita Vea was out for the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Vita Vea is huge.
Yeah.
I've been going about Raccoon Davis. I always pronounce it Davis because stopping the run is so big on a great defense. Okay. When Vita Vea changed the landscape totally. Yeah. Maitland Ndamukong better stop the ass rimming they were getting by teams running up the middle. And Vita Vea's not.
Look at Vita Vea. Who's their defensive coordinator? Todd Bowles. He's a 3-4 guy.
I'm a Todd Bowles fan. Even though he betrayed me by going to Jets, I'm a Todd Bowles fan. That guy is a winner. He's a winner. He plays. You know why he's a winner? Because he plays to win. He's not afraid to play to win. Give him the talent.
And like you just alluded to, look at how the overall level picked up of the defense when Vita Vea came back. You see how important that anchor in the middle of a base 34 is, how important it is? Everything starts there. Everything.
And I'm glad you get it, because which gets to my analysis now. I told you, if the Dolphins were to draft a Devon Hamilton or a Luke Fortea ahead of Raekwon Davis, or they're not rated as high as some of the other defensive tackles, but what they're rated at best will have the most impacts on the Dolphins. Stop that damn run at the middle. They'll do that.
Absolutely.
Devon Hamilton is a guy I like, that if you don't get your nose tackle by the hundreds, you could probably get him in the hundreds, early to mid hundreds, and that's from Ohio State. I'll be totally.
I don't think so. No, you know what? I don't think so. I set up my board, right? I'm not an expert on that, but I'm a numbers guy, so I went to sites I respected, reviewed their board, like PFF, Draft Network, Bleacher Report, Matt Miller's Bleacher Report, and a couple of others like that, even Mel Kiper's board, which I've never been a fan. And I came out with my own draft. So, someone like Devon Hamilton is a good example. I have had him seen rating as high in the 70s up to about 122. So I figure taking the average, and I saw this is one of the few players outside of quarterbacks and linebackers, quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers that I noted during the college football season. Okay. The kid is a legit third-round pick, okay? That's where I think Dolphins should target him. Now, getting back to the draft, what happened yesterday, emotionally.
So you think we should take him at 70, or we should move back up into the third round?
I would say the safest pick to get him, especially if Raekwon Davis is gone, is around mid-60s, yeah. So he can go anywhere from 60 to 122.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I have.
What happens is, but you know what, guys? You have to analyze the teams that are ahead of you, right? What are the teams that are ahead of you when he's available, and where you feel you may need to draft it needs a run-stopping defensive tackle. If they need a defensive tackle like a Javon Kinlaw, go ahead, let him take him. Okay, Kinlaw is not Kinlaw type. I mean, like the guy from Texas A&M. Tackles that are better pass rushers, but not as strong.
You know about Justin Matabuki?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. There are a couple of tackles that are rated ahead of him. And I understand why, because they're better pass rushers, but they're nowhere near elite. And that's always a value. Okay, so I understand it. So that's part of the strategy of a draft that a lot of people don't understand. They say, you reached. Not for your needs, you didn't reach. So which gets me to the Dolphins and what happened here. Okay, I don't give ratings of A at all. Okay, the exception was for the two I gave an A+, because the plus came because I, like everybody else, almost everybody else thought the Dolphins would have to draft up and get him, and they gave the middle finger to the Lions and said, go ahead, and they got him without having to trade up or get any assets at all. Any. I was saying I'm comfortable with, I don't hate to, but I would have been comfortable with 56. After that, I really was not comfortable. I don't care how good Tua is, give more. This team is on rebuild mode. Also, I'm giving an A because some people say you don't take an prone to injury. You're going to use TDs. I don't want to upset TD. Prone to injury quarterback if you're rebuilding a team, because if you pick the wrong quarterback, as you guys know, they could hurt a team's rebuild for 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
The only exception, this is why I love what the Dolphins did, is the Miami Dolphins, because they have 5 picks on their rebuilding. That has never happened, I ever recall. A team that's rebuilding have 5 picks. They could afford to gamble on a quarterback. And plus, I know you guys, a lot of guys are not high on Rosen. They still have Rosen as a backup, long-term backup plan. Okay, I don't know if Rose is going to be how good he is, but he does have talent, and I think eventually he will be a good quarterback. I don't know how good. So they have a backup plan already in place. But those extra picks means we continue building our house comfortably. So if Tua doesn't rate out, then a couple of years from now, we got our players in set. We go free agency. May not be Rose, go free agency. We find the Aaron Rodgers, which I think is going to happen a couple of years after this, what happened with Green Bay. Okay, that they could, once Jordan Love is ready, they're probably going to trade Rodgers, okay, especially with that contract he has.
The contract's ridiculous.
Yeah. So the Dolphins will be in position to get that veteran quarterback to take us to the next level. Going back to the draft, I got the A+ for that. I freaked out, and I gave the overall a B-. A calm down, look at it logically like I'm supposed to do. Austin Jackson, I gave an A-. Okay. Remember when I started yesterday when we started the podcast with TD, I came on board and I say, this is a draft that's deep. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have players that are projected the second round with first round grades. Okay.
Mhm.
And my view is that there was 13 A+ players that if you were in that 13 pick range, those were the best player available. So if you had a choice, fantastic. Once you get out of it, then the next group of talent that are best player available talent went from like number 15. I had it all the way to 50. That's how good. There's very minor difference between the two. Austin Jackson was my 41st. He was in the 50.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys know, I've been saying since day one, Josh Jones should be number 18. Josh Jones has a 31. Okay, 31. Okay, so yeah, people who are uneducated about how this best player thing operates would say that's a reach. It's not a reach. Between that 18 and that 50, there's few characteristic differences that can influence how you rate them. And this is where Austin Jackson and Josh Jones, the characteristic differences is where you had a different rating than me. It's really not that much. It's just how you view it. Josh Jones, in my opinion, after the first four, is the first tackle that's close to plug and play.
I agree. That's where I have him on my big board. Yeah,
that's why I had him as number 5 in my big board.
He's the 5 on
Austin
my big board.
Jackson, after Mekhi Becton, has the highest ceiling.
Yeah, okay. I agree with that.
So the Dolphins, obviously what's happening, they're going for ceiling.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't blame them. Exactly. We're trying to build a monster team. We're not ready to win next year. I'm not talking winning. I mean Super Bowl. I expect we're going to have a winning record next year.
I agree.
They're trying to build a monster team, and I understand that, and I support them on taking Austin Jackson. I give Austin Jackson an A-. Now, Noah. That one I freaked out. Yesterday I freaked out. I love Noah. Okay, he was in my top 50 also.
You could get him at 56, though. I think. I really believe that.
No.
I really believe
a lot of teams. You know what? Remember, a team is looking. They have the same top 50. Their next step they're looking at is scheme fit, and then they reshuffle.
Scheme fit and upside. You said, yeah.
Right. So for the Dolphins, if this was the pick they needed, he is a scheme fit.
Right.
Okay. I love Jeff Gladney, but he is more of a scheme fit for the Dolphins. So I don't blame him there. I think that was the proper move. My problem is this: primary, secondary, third. Quarterback is, in my book, is a third level need. Okay. And there were too many A players where they meet specific Dolphin needs. My number one need, my primary needs are quarterback, defensive tackle, 2 offensive tackles, and the running back. Okay. My secondary need was wide receiver, a backup defensive tackle, because everybody's forgetting the Dolphins really only have 2 defensive tackles right now. So now they need a primary defensive tackle and a backup defensive.
So you don't have safety high on your needs list?
At safety, I'm sorry. You know what? I made a mistake, guys. You're absolutely right. I backtrack. Take out the running back. I have running back a second. Safety is my number 1. I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. Okay.
So what would you have done?
Third level.
Who would you have taken at 26? Would you have taken Xavier McKinney or Antoine Winfield Jr.?
Well, if I'm going safety, again, it depends on the philosophy. I don't think, for as much as the Dolphins like to play an aggressive defense, I don't think they're a ball hawking defense. Okay, and Byron Jones is typical of that. He's not an interception guy, but they love the fact that
Noah Igbinoghene is the exact same thing, right? He's not a ball
hawking guy. Yeah. He can be because he was a wide receiver, but his primary focus is just like Byron Jones. You ain't gonna catch the ball in my face, boy. You ain't gonna catch it.
But you know what? I think the overall philosophy of this defense, of this staff, as far as the secondary is concerned, they value coverage as opposed to taking the football.
Coverage and tackling.
That's what I'm saying. They don't value
tackling. If you beat me with that reception, I'm going to tackle you right away. So there's no gap.
Exactly.
So having said that,
that's why I'm paying very close attention to Xavier Howard, because as much as I love Xavier Howard, in terms of sticky coverage. You know, people get blown away with his interception total and his ability to take the football away, but he can be undisciplined at times. Okay, he's not the most disciplined and structured player within the confines of the scheme, and you know what Flores is about. Structure and discipline.
If you don't fit it to right, you're gone. Ask Kiko Alonso, right?
Exactly.
Ask Kiko Alonso.
Exactly.
Now, Howard's not as bad as Kiko Alonso.
Right.
You're exactly right. He's on that border that I won't be surprised if they say, but I doubt it very much because, yeah, he does gamble a little bit more, but man, the guy gets like a cinch 7 interceptions, and that's.
Oh, yeah. I love Howard. I just think I want to at least get 1 year out of.
Okay, now let me get into the controversial part. I know this is going to set up a controversial. I personally think Xavier McKinney is a little bit overrated. Okay, he is a top 50 player. Don't get me wrong. Okay, but I think the two others are better. Antoine Winfield. If you like a ball hawking safety, it's Antoine Winfield. If you like a safety that'll cover your ass in the back, then it's Grant Delpit. Okay, so to me, Grant Delpit, even though he has that tackling issues that's keeping him out of the first round, he is by far a better fit, in my opinion, if you're going to be aggressive cornerback team, because he can help cover up those players that make that get away from you better than Winfield or McKinney. Okay, I'm not going to be unhappy with either one of them. If you're asking me if I have the 3 choices, I'm going with Delpit. Okay, that's what I'm going. But I have no problems with the other two. No problems.
I'm not.
They're going to be players.
I think his safety. I think his tackling is going to be a real big issue for Flores.
But I mean,
you know what?
I mean, have you seen Delpit's ability to consistently cover guys down the field?
Oh, he's great at that. He's great at that.
Well, I would argue. I would argue. I think he's nowhere near on the level of Antoine Winfield.
LSU is a lot like the Dolphins and the others. They alternate the job that he has to do from play to play, but he's very good at that. He's probably the better of the 3 at straight up man coverage. Okay, now the tackling issue. Yeah, before I do my homework, I have to do more homework on that. What I would do is kind of throw out 2019. Because he had to deal with that injury, and I don't know how much of a factor. I don't know the physiology of it and how it affects his tackling. So I would go by 2018. 2018, he wasn't the best tackler, but he wasn't as bad as 2019.
Yeah, but it still showed up, right?
It did. So how bad? I don't know. So that's the key issue. I would do a little more research, but if everything checked out that I could accept it, I would definitely go Delpit over the other 2.
Any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Okay, right. Last thoughts. So I changed it last night from B- after careful thought to a B+. Good start. Okay, but they got to take care of those own. So the only issue I had was that they didn't address the first or second need with that 3rd pick. Well, there's a ton of players that could have done that.
Before you get out of here, give me who would you take at 39, who would you take at 56, and who would you take at 70?
Okay, 30. This is interesting. 39. I've always said it. EM, 2 offensive tackles, either 2 offensive tackle, or Ruiz. Now Ruiz is gone. Is Josh Jones available? You got to take him. Got to. Okay, because the offensive line is the key to the entire offense. I don't have to tell you. We were historically dreadful last year. It's amazing how the offense even functioned, with how bad it was last year. Mm-hmm. Number 56, that's where I hope Davis falls to, because that's around the range where everybody seems to feel like. Matter of fact, we got to do what the Tampa Bay did. We got to jump ahead of Baltimore because as run-stopping tackle is one of Baltimore's priority. Yeah. And they picked 1 pick ahead. So every mock draft I run through with every simulator, more than half the time, Baltimore took him just before us. Okay, so we have to use those assets to jump Baltimore if he's still available when we get close to our 50. 70, running back will be good. We have to hope Cam Akers is available. I don't see the others being available there. Really a real drop. Okay. By the way, I'm one of the few that I give a thumbs up to KC for Hilaire. Hilaire is the best all-around back in the draft. To me, a running back is more about running. If you want running, it's Jonathan Taylor, hands down. No question about it. Yeah. But I want the back that could protect my passer, that could run routes, and that could also run the ball. Hilaire may be the weakest of the three in running the balls of the top four, but he's the best at pass protection and route running by far and away. And then
pass protection for sure. Pass protection.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the NFL's about, guys, I don't have to tell you, the NFL's about pressuring the passer. Yeah. The more you can protect the passer, the better. So that's why I think Kansas City was smart to take Hilaire. They could have gone wrong with Swift or Dobbins, especially Dobbins is my number 2 overall rated in overall ability. Okay.
The scary thought to me with them was if they went Jonathan Taylor and they paired him with Damian Williams. And that's where I was like, oh, man, you put that 4.39 speed back there. Oh, my God, Right.
If I was the running team, this would be a no-brainer. It's Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's awesome. Yeah. But, the truth is that very few teams are strictly running teams anymore. Exactly. How would you like to see Taylor in Baltimore, huh?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to see that.
Don't give him ideas. Don't give him ideas.
I don't want to see that.
Give it to Dallas. Elliott. So.
I don't want to see that, bro.
Yeah. No. Yo, we appreciate you coming on, Larry, and the support.
Thank you guys for doing this, and stay safe. Fins up.
And when we do this next time, when we have people on, make sure to come on again, okay, buddy?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, buddy. Have a good one, eh?
You too now. Take care.
See you tonight. All right, man. We're running on the 2-hour mark, guys. We just went on the fly there with that Q&A thing, but great insight from Larry, Darth Vader, Sharif. It's good seeing our good boy Joe Blow come on over here. Joe B. Keaton, a great guy. EM, before we get out of here, any last thoughts, sir?
Yeah, man, I'm just looking forward. I'm looking forward to the Dolphins, basically keeping the same approach that they had in the first round. Identifying specific scheme fits, maintaining that theme in terms of the selection of the players, their targets. So yeah, man, I think again, the way the bell forward, the way the board fell to the Dolphins in terms of the second and third round for the potential players, potentially us addressing needs, it fell perfect for them. So I'm looking forward to them being aggressive. Hopefully they get aggressive on the back end and try to jump back up into the second and third round area to acquire even a fourth, picking up another fourth. Yeah. I just hope they look to be more aggressive to get back up into the second, third, and fourth round area. So
agreed.
Yeah, can't wait.
And guys, Rhino, Nico, Pyro, George, Scotty Joe, don't be strangers. Clemente, don't be strangers, guys. Come on next time, because you are some of the guys we want to see, because you guys have been consistently here since day one. So, it's open next time. Come on. Don't be afraid, guys. We want to hear what all you guys think.
Absolutely.
Guys, day 2 is about to start tonight, 7 o'clock. We are going to be back here tomorrow afternoon. It's probably going to be during when day 3 is rolling. And we're going to give you a day 2 recap. We're going to do the same thing all over again. We'll probably take you guys coming on here again to hear your thoughts about how day 2 went, how day 3 is going. We're going to keep doing that call-in effect so that we got going here. But, man, much love, much appreciation, guys. We had up to almost 140 people at one time in this stream. I know TD went live and our numbers went down a little bit because some of you guys went over, but a bunch of you stuck around still. And it's nothing but love, man. Nothing but appreciation. And we appreciate the support that you guys continue to show us, man. And I hope, what we've dropped in terms of insight, knowledge, and I hope it has really helped you guys so far with the draft process and being able to tell whether we were making the right pick or not at that position. And hopefully it helps you guys continuing on into day 2 and day 3. But we're going to get out of here, guys. You know what it is. It's fins up. And nothing but love, nothing but appreciation. And thank you so much, guys, for the support. We'll see you tonight on TD Fins Talk, and then we'll see you back here tomorrow for the day 2 recap. Tua Tagovailoa is a Dolphin, guys. Now it's time for us to become a legitimate contender. Have a good one, guys.
Fins up all day, every day, baby. You already know what it is.